My Lords, it's humbling to follow the noble Lord Woolf. I really welcome this debate. It's so important. So a special thank you to Lord Farmer and also for his thought-provoking speech. There's so much to say on the topic, and I'm really glad to have heard many refer to IPPs and that the noble Lord Moylan is going to continue pursuing and trying to do something about this ongoing blight on the criminal justice system. And I hope that imprisonment for public protection sentences will be one day forever gone. Of course, showing such regard for these prisoners or any prisoners can grate with the public. Too often attempts at raising issues of prison reform can be met with angry rolling of the eyes. What about the victims of crime, people say? And at present, to note, this goes far wider than hardline tropes of lock 'em up and throw away the key, or repetition of the myths that prisons are cushy holiday camps. Rather, I think it reflects a larger problem of public despair at the state of criminal justice and the crisis of trust, in particular, with policing in the UK. On the one hand, many citizens feel the criminal justice system is becoming oppressive and inconsistent in the application of law, over-policing and penalising what were erstwhile non-criminal activities, whether that's of protests from the one-man foghorn Steve Bray to those at the Sarah Everard vigil, or the seeming obsession by some police forces with trawling through social media and threatening those who tweet offensive or hateful comments, in their opinion with criminal sanction. I also look at the squandering of resources spent on investigating tens of thousands of non-crime hate incidents, despite the fact these NCHIs have never been voted for by Parliament and have even been declared unlawful by the courts in relation to the Harry Miller case. In 2018, Sarah Thornton, the chair of the National Police Chiefs Council, stated that the police should, quote, solve more burglaries and bear down on violence before they make records of incidents that are not crimes. And yet still these NCHIs continue, and burglars and violent crime are neglected, and the public feel that they are being ignored. And so many feel underprotected by agencies charged with their safety. You only have to look at the story in the news this week as an example, the release of the report on the Oldham grooming gangs. It's shocking reading, and many still feel it is too evasive and a whitewash. Vulnerable young girls who no one would listen to in authorities were drugged, raped and sexually abused with seeming impunity as the police and local authorities looked the other way, refusing to investigate for fear of providing, quote, an opportunity for far-right racist elements to capitalise politically. This politicisation of policing adds to a sense of grievance, especially as there's been similar stories emerging from Rotherham, Rochdale, Telford and so on. And I think it's these set of failures of criminal justice agencies to live up to the public's expectations that can breed a wider cynicism about the importance of focusing on the plight of criminals and the rehabilitation initiatives. We must not be deterred, but we can't ignore that either. So a couple of points on how we can improve prison life, a vital tool in deterring reoffending, as many have said. I was recently visited the new Early Day Centre at HMP Bronzefield, a Sodexo-managed women's prison for the MOJ. It made a real impact on me, a hugely impressive initiative, enthusiastically backed by management and staff, that allows a smooth settlement into custody, that was shown to have such a positive reduction on self-harm, violence and suicide, as the noble Lord Farmer explained these initiatives do. These early days centres really do work in cutting down on the volatility that any new prisoners will feel when entering the prison estate, allowing new prisoners to reach out to help without fear of repercussion, providing access to practical access to rules, and being taught all of the ropes of the prison regime by peer mentors. I met 3 peer mentors, young women residents as they were known then, prisoners now, I can't keep up, whose dedication to their role was meticulous, their attention to detail so impressive and organisationally competent. And that not only contributed to their own accumulation of skills for their own rehabilitation, I'm rather hoping they might get a job in the MOJ when they're released, but it also helped take some of the time burden from hard-pressed officers as well. Special mention here for Michael Campbell-Brown, who has arranged over 160 of these specially trained peer mentors, And there's 15 of these early day centres, with a new one opening earlier this week at HMP Ardwill, and HMP Peterborough launching theirs for the female prison this week. So I really hope that the new minister will back rolling out these programmes far more widely and look at these kind of innovative new initiatives. If we now understand that setting the right tone at the start of prison sentence is important, creating a positive contract between prison and prisoner, ensuring incarceration is not just an extension of turbulent, fearful and violent life outside, this can all be undone when we look at the circumstances of release, which so often sets people up to fail, and all that good work is ruined when prisoners are just dumped out into the outside world. Often those released are given tasks by probation officers that are unachievable. Many are not given travel warrants or means to attend probation meetings, and then they end up being recalled back to prison. Also, often the focus of post-prison rehabilitation is helping provide prisoners gain employment. That's a big thing. But there's less focus on leaving jail without accommodation, and tens of thousands leave prison without anywhere to live, with not everyone's got a family home to go to. So this is crucial, and we know that there's a clear link. Sorry. I apologise. There's a link between homelessness and reoffending, and I do hope the new minister, who I welcome heartily, will look at that too.